Hey guys, welcome to another quick video on the Introverted Network. Joined today again with Beth. My name is Brent, and we wanted to talk. This one's geared more probably towards real estate agents and realtors in general, but mortgage. Probably some good takeaways here as well. So today's topic, Beth, you have what do you do when listings just aren't selling? And that's probably pretty common in our market this time of year, going through the holiday season, but maybe even exaggerated a little bit now with some of the issues. So, Beth, what do you do when listings aren't selling? What are some key points and takeaways there?
Sure. So I have 4 tips for what you can do. And again, if your listings are selling, that's fabulous. We typically notice in the Midwest market that once Thanksgiving hits, a lot of buyers halt because they have their own parties to go to and Christmas events, and those things take precedence over moving in the middle of winter. So if you have any listings and they are not selling, I think the first tip you can do is to set the expectations with the seller right from the get-go. So while you're doing your listing presentation, letting them know that we're listing during a time of year that is typically slower. So yes, 6 months ago, your neighbor might have listed and got it under contract in a week and a half, and we really hope that for you as well. But if we were to see 2 or 3 showings within the first week, I would consider that good. Whatever your typical stats are for that price range in that market, but not letting them know that, oh gosh, this is going to fly off the shelves. I would rather set the expectation to have patience, and then if we get it sold in 2 days, they're happy with me. But I don't want them panicking from the beginning. Second thing is communicate with the sellers, no matter whether you've had a week of no activity or a week with a ton of activity. I feel like, Brent, if you were a seller and I listed your house and put a sign in the yard and you didn't hear from me for 3 weeks, you'd probably wonder, what the heck am I actually doing?
Not a great experience.
Yes. So I set the expectation right off the bat that says you're going to hear from me no matter what, once a week, even if I have no news. And sometimes that means I call them and I say, hey, we haven't had any showing requests. Activity's been slow since the last time we talked, but what concerns do you have? How can I talk that seller off the ledge potentially?
Very good. And I think what I'm hearing here, and I said it probably doesn't apply to lenders, but it really does, because on the lending side, the first 2 points you gave, which was set proper expectations up front and communicate weekly with updates. That's the exact same thing that we tell our loan officers as well, is don't overpromise, underdeliver, but set the proper expectations, and probably the opposite. It's underpromise, overdeliver, which is, I think, what you're saying there. And then also, even if you don't have an update, you just stay in touch. It's impossible to over communicate, is what we usually default to. So excellent. What are the other 2, Beth?
Sure. The third tip is provide stats to the seller, because it's all stats as realtors we can find on our MLS. So how many listings are in their price range that are our competition? How many of their price point listings went under contract this week? That information is viable information, because they don't know that. They can't see that. And it helps bring the panic down, because I may call them and say, hey, look, our listing's at 650,000. But since last Wednesday through the weekend, there was only one house in the entire Sioux Empire that went under contract in the $600,000 to $700,000 range. That shows that it's not your house. It's just that price point is taking a little bit longer. And that will allow a seller to go, okay, because you are going to think that it has something to do with your location, your condition, your house particularly. So stats are really important. We know them, so use them.
Perfect.
And then the last thing I would say is just don't panic, because, and I think I have to say that for myself a lot, because a year and a half ago, I was in the market where you listed, it sold, you got multiple offers, you were presenting several different options to sellers. And so you kind of have almost that anxiety of like, that's what you were so used to for a year and a half, 2 years. And now it's different. So we have to take a breath as the professionals and not panic, and be there to really communicate well, provide calmness and expertise, because if we panic, they'll panic.
Excellent points. And I think if you take those 4 steps, it takes a lot of maybe the worry or anxiety out of it a little bit. You're setting the proper expectations. You're communicating You're giving them the stats and the information. And then the last one is obviously not to panic. So I think as introverts, Beth, where we should be able to shine for the most part, and don't want to generalize everyone, but we're very good at gaining trust and going deep on those relationships. So these are just probably things that they should come fairly naturally to most of us, but just focusing on those things and going a little bit deeper, that communication piece, when it's one-to-one, tends to come a lot easier than one-to-many. So I think that's a great reminder there, where we can use our skill sets. So anything else that you would add?
Well, I guess the last thing I would add, and it's not every introvert that does this, but sometimes as introverts too, we can overthink.
Mm-hmm.
And so if we're not communicating well, or we're making assumptions in our own head that the seller is not satisfied or the seller must be freaking out, then we can spiral out of control as introverts. So it's almost having those questions that you can ask them, like, how are you feeling about how this week went? Are you stressed out about anything, and what can we talk through? Because sometimes I've had sellers go, no, you told me it was going to take a while, so I'm just fine. And then I can go, oh, okay.
I thought I was the only one that told myself a story, when sometimes when it's easier just to not make the phone call or not check in, and then we just tell ourselves a story. But excellent point there. Ask them how they're feeling, ask them what they think about things, get that dialogue going. That usually kind of calms the nerves, calms our minds a little bit too. So excellent advice there, Beth. Anything else you'd like to leave on?
No, can't wait for the next one.
All right. If you watch this, you're a lender. Is there anything else that you can tie this to on the lending side? If you're a real estate agent, is there anything else that maybe you'd add, or a step or a tip there that you found helpful? So leave it in the comments. We'd love to hear from you guys, and we'll see you again soon. Thanks.